Hello, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Tuxedo Ian, and we are getting back to our 8th session of Book of Hours here. We are still in the middle of summer, and we've unlocked a few new books, we've learned a few new skills, and let's just dive right back into it and get back to our summer. Alright, so it is the start of the day. We have some sunny weather and a regret memory to give us some forge and winter. And let's see, is there anything we can specifically do with Forge or Winter or Sky or Lantern? Well, we have the known unknown Tantra, which would get us, we need 6 Lantern for that. We need 4 for Sunrise Awakening. Actually, let's go ahead and read Sunrise Awakenings here. Well, we're almost done reading this book here. We can throw Sunrise Awakenings in this slot here. And we can throw our sunny weather at it. Actually, since our FOST is being used to read this book right now, we'll wait for it to finish, since it's only 6 seconds away. So we finished reading this book, which is The Locksmith's Dream, Portions and Proportions, the second volume of Teresa Galmer's examination of parallels in the mystic dreams of artisans. The frontispiece has been slashed with a razor. In this volume, Galmer records fewer dreams and explicates more of her own elaborate theories. We see this again and again. What is below can't escape what is above. The finest artisans all dream of the white door in the end. I'm no artisan, only a scholar. I think there's a secret that all these artisans know, but I think that secret is only half the story. So we have gained a confounding parable. Well, we used a confounding parable to read it, and we gained a confounding parable back. And we got a lesson on lockworks and clockworks. So we'll move this over to our red area. Actually, we'll move it over here because there are several books in the series. So we'll give it its own shelf here. We will also mark the book with confounding parable so we can remember that that's what it gives us. And now we can take our exhausted FOST and we can go back to the sweet bones with it. Throw 2 pence at it. And it's summer. We're eating some crumbly cheese and nettle wrappings and black rye bread while we soak up the sun and rest our FOST. Alright, let's see what else we might be able to get done with what we have. Oh, we have the Book of Cinders. We need 2 metal. We have 2 forge with that, 3 forge. And not quite enough to get there. Can't read those yet. We don't have Kilisimi. Okay, so yeah, it looks like those books are currently inaccessible to us. We are currently learning sand stories that we got from our readings yesterday. That's not going to be enough for that. Do we have enough sky to read anything here? We only have 2 from the confounding parable, and 1 from the Auxilia, so that's not going to be enough for that. So instead, let's look at what rooms we can open up today. We need 4 forge, or 5 edge, or 5 knock, or 5 winter. So I think we can get Denzel to help us out with that one. And luckily we have a Florin, so we have 2 more people we can call out before the end of the year, although we can do some work in the Sweet Bones to get more. Denzel will talk about practical matters, though he prefers to sit in silence. A shilling will buy his help for a day. What do you need? So Florin is, as you remember, is a shilling per side, so it's 2 shillings. We'll get 1 shilling back. And we'll have to do some more work if we want to hire anybody else. So we can talk with Denzel and use our... our metal to boost him up to 4 forge, which will get him enough to open that. And we'll talk to him a few times and see if maybe we can get something that has 2 forge on it so we can open up the kitchen. But if we can't, we can always open up the Grand Ascent 3rd floor. And I think, let's see, we can go ahead and start cataloging another book here, I believe. Yep, we can use our Trist to catalog a book there. And we can use our Shapt to catalog another book here. 2 baronial books from the 1500s to 1700s. Go ahead and get those started. We've learned Sand Stories, which gives us Moon and Rose. That gives us 2 skills that have Rose now. We have Pearl and Tide at 3. Three. We have Sand Stories with 2 and Sky Stories with 1. Definitely need to advance that just a little bit farther, but we'll get to that in time. Don't think we can do anything. F 1, 2, 3. Nope, we can't read the Encircling Tantra just yet. On Resonance, nope, and we don't have the phonograph yet, so we can't listen to this record. Phonograph is going to be in this room here. Our course is fixed. And we'll talk to him to see if he can give us something with 2 forge. If not, we'll just open up the top of the stairway. We found De Horis Book 2 in Latin, a 19th century reprint by the indefatigable Nathaniel Darcy Evers of a 14th century Latin translation of a 4th century work. Oh boy, what a mess that's got to be. Edge 4 gives us the skill of Disciplines of the Hammer. To purify and to combine the selves and the essences, the hammer shapes gates and shatters doors within us and without. And we've also found Black Nephrite, one of Valentine de Wolf's dream journals, in which he records his visions of a place that is no place, beneath the house that is no house. So let's see, I think we actually might be able to read that one. Because we have our Confounding Parable. We have... Pearl and Tide gives us 2 more. We just need to rest our Trist, and I think we'll be able to get that. So almost done here at the Sweet Bones. Better now. The Trist will only give us 1 moon. Let's see what else we might have that's available for reading. Okay, we definitely are going to start reading this. Because the sunny day gives us enough to get Lantern Revelations. I can master this mystery. Alrighty, let's see what else we have available here. 6 edge. Not quite, nothing we can do with edge because metal is our only edge right now. Fed is rose. Core is heart. We need 8 heart. We're not quite there yet. Oh, might as well go ahead and start learning Lockworks and Clockworks. There's a lot in silence, this man. You just know, you know. Well, Rose and Moon. So actually, what that does is allow us to do... is now that we have 2 moon memories, we can go ahead and rest our Trist here. And we can use the opportunities that it'll give us, because it might ask us for a memory, and we can see if we can slot in that extra bit to get our 6 moon. 4 edge, not much we can do to get to that yet. 6. This one I would like to read as soon as possible, but the Hound's Gall, I don't want to use it up just yet because there's some other books we may want it to use it for. Lockworks and Clockworks. The Little Ways of Little Machines gives us Knock and Sky. So our core is not going to be all that intimately useful just yet, so we'll use it to catalog another book here. From the Curia period, 1700s to 1800s. Ooh, we got a Memory Storm. We might be able to... We should hang on to that for a while. That gives us 2 heart and 2 sky. An uncharacteristically poignant meditation by the edgelong Trog of Merinand, who later came to Hush House under a variety of other names, often in search of some sort of fight. If light were not silent, it would be music. If music were visible, it would be light. Well, that kind of makes sense, I suppose. And the new book we found is The Wound Wounds. A history of 100 wars, sewn into a design of metallic threads that pursues itself across every page. Again, this is one we're going to have to put off for a while because this is 18 edged and we're nowhere near that, and it's also written in Kilisimi, which we cannot read yet. It will give us Disciplines of the Scar when we master it. To master boundaries through their determination, the scar marks wisdom and regrets. One is often born from the other. So we'll put this on our Kilisimi shelf, and we will record and catalog another Curia book. Hindsight, some things we can really only understand when they're gone. Winter doesn't really do us any good right now. Our tryst is better. So now that our tryst is better, we can find a desk with moon. Yep, there we go. We can slot in the black nephrite. We can slot in our tryst. And we can slot in the confounding parable. And let's see, we need a skill with moon on it. So we can get 2 from there. We can get 3 from there. That gives us 6. That's enough to read it. A moon, a culmination. I can master this mystery. So we're going to go ahead and read Black Nephrite there. And we found another Tantra, the Incandescent Tantra. Michael Blockley, the eccentric iron magnate, was fond of quoting from this Tantra. Blockley died in a factory fire. Well, guess it didn't help him out all that much. Dropping things in these little holes can be a little finicky sometimes. There we go. Aha, there we go. A memory foresight. That's what we were looking for. Wits forge and fire blast. Meanings press and screw. Coleridge on Don's poetry. That'll give him a forge of 6 and will allow us to open up the kitchen down here. Just in time. And we've just about finished reading this book. Each day's light, Twog suggests, is faintly touched by the light of every past day, so in the light of every present day we may begin to understand something of days to come. At least this appears to be his conclusion, but he stops mid-sentence, apparently having lost patience with the act of writing, or possibly been ambushed. So we can move this over to our red shelf, and it gave us Auroral Contemplations and a Memory of Revelation. So we'll mark it with Memory Revelation to remind us that that's what it gives. And revelation is just straight up 2 lanterns. Some truths come to us from outside or above. That will come in very handy reading some of these other lantern books, which I think we're going to go ahead and use our whist to get another 6 of work at the Sweet Bones. And we will use Auroral Contemplations to study that and gain the skill associated with it. Auroral Contemplations gives us both edge and lantern, something we are sorely lacking at this point. And we will have Deadzil come here and working on clearing up the ruined kitchen. Finally, signs of a fire, but it looks as if, fortunately, the chimney breast collapsed before it could spread too far. It can't be why the house was abandoned. In any case, the kitchen will need a skilled labor to restore it to a usable state. So we'll go ahead and get him started on that. Another leaf on the Tree of Wisdoms, Auroral Contemplations. To know what will pass in what has passed. The practitioners of this discipline see endings and beginnings, passages and transitions in the same mode as dawn and sunset. Gives us 1 edge and 2 lanterns, so we should be able to read those 6 lantern books now. Also can be assigned to Illumination or Nyctodromy, but we won't be doing that just yet. And let's see, what do we want to do with this fet? It has Moth and Rose, so we can't use it at any of our stations that we've got so far. But we can use it with our Consider verb to catalog another book, so we'll just work on cataloging another one of these Curia books. Let's see. Well, we don't have any more soul fragments right now, so we can't get any help from the kills. But we will have our whist give us 6 here. An afternoon spent profitably, reading newspapers to the curious, writing affectionate letters for the lonely, steering farmers through the requirements for the Ministry of Agriculture. Gives us some 6. And the new book we have is The Orchid Transfigurations Noon, the 3rd volume of a compilation of quasi-Rosicrucian allegories, supposedly by Robert Flood. This is in the original Latin. For Heart, written in Latin, and would give us the knowledge of Magaphene mysteries. The greater plagues may not be cured, only bound. The very greatest of all may only be entreated, and it is death to do so improperly. So, if we wanted to read that today, what we can do is we can come here and rest our core. Because Magaphene Mysteries will give us a heart skill, which we currently do not have. Deadzil is just about finished down here. And we have finished reading Black Nephrite, the dark, inchoate, feral space let's see. One of Valentine's Wolf's dream journals in which he records his visions of the place that is no place beneath the house that is no house. The dark, inchoate, feral space described by Valentine seems to be the nowhere of the invisible arts, the infra-oneric lair of the alien hours sometimes called gods from nowhere. Valentine's attitude to the nowhere hours is unexpectedly relaxed. He speaks darkly of their appetites, but he insists they are too alien to penetrate the house of the sun, let alone the waking world. He even seems to suggest that the Mansus Hours have exaggerated the threat of the Nowhere Hours for their own reasons. Not all birds are trustworthy in their feathers, he warns. Gives us a memory fear and lesson on wolf stories. So we can come to our consider verb and we can mark this with memory fear. And place it into our red collection. Drop the book of the centipede there. And as soon as our core has finished... Oh, and there's Denzel finished with the kitchen. So we have a servant's kitchen range. It's good luck for the villagers to bring little gifts of food to the librarian. That's already become a tradition. But sometimes the librarian wants a hot meal. And these days, the librarian is the only entity in the house that can cook. This one is a little bit different from most crafting areas because it does allow 6 slots, so we can put a soul, a skill, a memory, 2 ingredients, and a type of kitchenware, which would be either our knife that we found in the servants' quarters, or these new kitchen bowls. A new tool for us that has both heart and nectar, and it's cake time! Yes, that one's is rather silly on their part, but hey, you know, you'll be making good use of those to make cake later. We've also found a couple of foods in here. We've found a bunch of grapes, a juicy bluish purple. They're straight up nectar. We found a pitcher of isle water, which has heart, moon, and winter. A hen's egg, delicious when cooked, alarming when dropped. Scale and heart. Some pickled mushrooms. You'll learn to like them. I really hope so. Some heart, some moon, and 2 nectar, as well as some edge. And you'll also notice that they are a first course and a side dish. These will come into play later when we start doing salons and hosting people over for dinners. We found a packet of C&H Second Flush Assam, tea from the land of the real unicorn, imported by Cater and Hero. We can brew that to get some tea that has edge and knock and lantern. A labitic tincture. A much more potent preparation can be extracted from the remains of a labite, but labites generally frown on this technique. Gives us 2 edge and 1 lantern. We might find a use for that later. We found some honey, the blood of the hour called malachite. Also, and furthermore, wonderful on toast. Gives us some heart, moth, and nectar. We have 3 jars of that, and a jar of cuckoo honey. The Blomberind were rogues and trickster heroes among the carapace kinds. Ingenious, brave, prolific, untrustworthy. In Numa, their children might yet bring their gifts to ordinary hives. This is a bit of a special honey that we can only get at a certain time of the year. As you can see, it says in Numa. It has 3 moth, 2 nectar, 3 scale, 2 edge, heart, and knock. So it's kind of an all-around thing. Mostly we would use it for either the scale or the moth, but later it's actually going to be used more for cooking or for creating things. We found another bottle of dandelion wine, some Lambig Broculiande, distilled from apples in the oldest forest of the western continent. Has nectar and grail. And some Schloss Jannings, a dry aromatic white wine. 2 edge, nectar, and not nectar, 2 edge, heart, and scale. Excuse me. And we have the description of the kitchen itself. King's Luck Pie, a beef pie with pears and cinnamon and secret ingredients, is the traditional dish of the house. It was first cooked, they say, for King Henry, when in great secrecy on St. Piran's Day, he came to Cornwall seeking the king's metal, tin, to restore his alloy. It probably didn't happen, but the pie did. We've also opened up 2 new rooms that we can explore. A wrecked pantry, smashed glass and shattered timber. This room can be restored and there'll be salvageable provisions tucked away in the wreckage, but I'll need someone with strong arms and a patient heart. So we'll need either 7 heart or 7 nectar to get into there. And we have the Ravaged Foundry. This room has not only been abandoned, but vandalized. Someone has smashed the place up and scrawled W signs on the wall in blood and soot. I'll need skilled assistance to return it to use. Either 6 scale or 6 forge. Well, that's going to be another job for Denzel once we can get another memory revelation from something. And we will go ahead and start learning wolf stories while we're at it. Now we just have to wait for our core to be finished resting at the Sweet Bones here. Speed up time a little bit. Another leaf on the Tree of Wisdom's wolf stories. Sometimes we eat the wolf, and sometimes the wolf eats us. 2 moon and 1 scale, and it can be assigned to either birdsong or skolakosophy. As you'll probably notice, there are quite a lot of moon skills, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far. So yeah, we're going to have a lot of moon skills and a lot of ways to raise them up. We've rested our core. And we could throw that back in and get another 6-pence, but instead we're going to come back to our desk, in the reading room, and we're going to read the Orchid Transfigurations, because our core gives us 2 heart, and our Memory Storm gives us the other 2 heart that we need, and we can master this mystery and go onwards with the heart. And with that, that brings our day pretty much to a close. The last thing here is just another serving area, plates, cups, and glasses, so that if I were to offer someone wine, I needn't give them the whole bottle. And in fact, we will go ahead because we might need some edge here in the near future. So we will pour out a glass of Schloss Jennings. Pour it out. And set that back on the countertop here for later. And since this is part of a multi-book collection, we'll give it its own little shelf here. So we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 books to catalog. We'll have to get to that in the coming days. We'll go ahead and let the... It is nighttime, so before day comes, let's see which of these we would like to hold. We cannot keep Revelation. We could keep Regret. We can't keep Intuition. We could keep Hindsight, or we could keep Fear. I think the... Yes, I think the Scale is one we'll keep, because that would give us 2, 3, 4, 5 with our heart, and we can probably find another scale somewhere that we can use to read that last, that 6 scale book that we have. So we will hold on to that one. Just, let's see, what all do we have? Yeah, we have plenty of items that are scale that we can use to hopefully finish reading that book. If it asks for some wall art, or if it asks for an item, or a comfort. So this is an item. We can brew some tea and get some Dawnline coffee if we wanted to. Let's see, what else do we have down here that might... Yeah, the Schloss Jennings has scale, so we could use it, or we could use the hen's egg to get us our last piece of scale that we need. But I think that we're going to go ahead and let the day tick over and see what our weather for tomorrow is. And we have some more sun. So let's see, just to get started on something before we call it for a day, we can start reading the Known Unknown Tantra. Because our Faust gives us 2, the Sun gives us another 2, and Auroral Contemplations brings us to 6. And as you can also see, this would also allow us, if we wanted to, Auroral Contemplations with 5 lantern lets us craft a beaker of Eigengrau. But we don't need to do that right now. We're going to go ahead and start reading this book. I can master this mystery. Carlos Garcia Sauri, the ecstatic mystic of the Pyrenees, was known to recite this in 3 languages, although he had never visited the subcontinent. Interesting, because it's written in Sanskrit. So wonder what other languages he would be able to recite it in. So we'll go ahead and get that started. And I think that's the point we will go ahead and call it a day. So thank you for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed. Please leave a like or a comment if you have anything to say. And I will see you for the next episode.